most people, when they're faced with any challenge in life, the first thing that they do is they pick up the bottle, or they start smoking, or they do some type of degenerate activity that's going to negatively impact their life. I remember when I was going through depression, and I had pretty much just recently broke up with my ex. Like, we, broke up. And I literally just remember how I felt so rejected and unloved and discarded by my ex and stuff. And I was in a very negative place. And it literally just felt like my heart dropped to my stomach, And I literally, I remember this clear as day. I went to the liquor store, right? And I got me a bottle of whiskey. I forgot exactly what it was called, but it was strong too. Like, man, I got really drunk, and immediately I felt, I guess, maybe relief, a sense of control or something, I just wasn't feeling that pain like I was anymore. So, and I remember I was walking around. You know how in GTA, you get drunk on GTA, like the character will get drunk and stuff, and it's like, you can hear all like everybody talking around, and it just sound like really distorted and weird, That's literally how it felt when I was walking around and I was drunk. I heard people talking around me, and it was like faded out. It was just crazy. And my life just felt different. Everything, like all the pain kind of just stopped. And like for a minute, I felt something other than that deep pain that I felt when my ex, just pretty much straight up rejected me. And at this time, I was pretty much a loser. I was going through depression. I was really skinny. I couldn't stay consistent in the gym. I couldn't, this is before I ever discovered, before I ever really started meditating or reading or really just working on my mental health. And I was working at this job, Amazon. I was delivering packages for Amazon, and it was really stressful. It really took a toll on my mental health. And I look back to that, you know what I mean? And I'm like, man, I've came so far, because I literally started going to the gym, right? And I got in shape and everything. Now I'm really attractive. On top of that, man, I used to be really socially awkward, but I've leveled up my social skills. And funny enough, funny story here, back in January, I actually got diagnosed with autism, level 1. So this whole time I've had mild autism, and that's why I've been socially awkward. At least that's part of it. That's why I've had some of the issues that I've had. And I came to learn that autism is literally a part of me. And lately I've been making it my identity, which is something I shouldn't do. You don't want to make it anything like depression or anxiety or whatever you have. You don't want to ever make it your identity. But I say that to say I still struggle at times with all of this stuff. Alcohol, I literally still have urges to get drunk. Even though I don't drink as much as I used to. I used to drink all the time, like literally every single day. I remember I would drink at night, and I'd wake up like I about to throw up. I felt sick to my stomach. I had a bad hangover, and I'd wake up. I recover, and I do the same thing as soon as I woke up. And man, that was such a depressing and painful time in my life, and it kind of hurts really just to talk about it at all. But I think back on that, and I'm like, bro, at least I'm not drinking. So last night, sometimes with the winter and things can get the best of me, and sometimes, like I said, I feel socially awkward, and whether I come off as awkward, I feel sometimes because I'm usually antisocial and I don't really talk to people too much anymore right now, even though I have really great social skills. I try to stay to myself and be in my own world. And then when I finally decide to reach out to people and go speak, and if I mess up or if I make a mistake, or if it comes across as somebody dislikes me, or if they don't, if I just come across as weird, I tend to really beat myself up over it. Like I'm like very hard on myself, and it kind of, not gonna lie, just brought me into this depression, this feeling of guilt, shame, embarrassment. And last night I really had such a strong desire to pick up that bottle and get drunk, honestly. But because I've made so much progress in the gym, and that's something I love doing, I couldn't allow myself to do that. Sometimes I'll still drink for fun, just have a little cup, have a little bit of wine or something like that. And I'm not gonna lie, I do mess up sometimes. I'm not perfect, I'm human, Sometimes I'll have a situation happen or something significant happen in my life, and then I'll just get drunk. I'll get really drunk, and it happens to all of us. I can't expect myself to be perfect, but today I think that I did something very well. I did something very good, today. This was like last night. I felt awkward and everything, and I'll kind of get into why a little bit later. But this morning I woke up and I was feeling depressed and, like kind of just hopeless in a way. Like there's nothing else that I can do. Like I can go as far as to say, even feeling that low self-esteem of like worthlessness and not having any value, not having any self-value. And I think depression kind of, that depression will talk to you and it'll tell you that, hey, you don't have any value, you're worthless, no one loves you, and, people would be better off without you. That's literally what depression does to you. So that's what I was experiencing this morning. And I did want to get drunk. I said, man, I can't, like, the difference is younger me would have went and to the liquor store and got drunk. Literally just got all the way drunk. That's what younger me would have done. But me now, you know what I did? I took my ass to the gym. I did an incline walk on the treadmill, so I did some hiking, and I did that for about an hour. And I said, yeah, after that, I felt way better. I'm not going to say I felt, sky high and everything's all sunshine and rainbows now, but I think this is what life is like to be a man, especially when you have bad mental health, or you're just not like, I got diagnosed with depression and anxiety also, by the way, especially when you have these things. It's really good to be disciplined. Sometimes you're going to do the hard things. You're going to do things. You're going to do what you're supposed to do, and you're not even going to feel good about it. It's not going to make you feel good and make you feel like it's not going to make you feel any more valuable than you did before. To be real, I still have the urge to get drunk. I still have the urge to go pick up that bottle, get drunk, blackout drunk. But I didn't do it. I built up my discipline to the point where I can tell myself, no, I'm not going to go do that unless I choose to do it. But right now I choose not to. I'm not going to get drunk, And another thing that causes us men to feel depression a lot of the times is that sometimes we don't take challenges. You know how you feel numb and empty and you just don't have any motivation, no desire? The phones and social media and dating apps and stuff like that will mess you up, but you don't take challenges. That's the number one reason why people just don't feel alive, because they don't fucking take challenges anymore. Like going up and approaching a woman. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I haven't really been at socials because of the winter and everything. I haven't had much motivation to go out and do what I do, right? But like the gig apps and everything, usually when I do the gig apps, I get out and I get to socialize with women, just people in general, right? But I have had a lot of times in my life when I'll go approach like I see somebody I'm attracted to and I go approach them. I go approach her, right? And I may come across as awkward. I know I'm physically attractive, right? But sometimes I'll get in my head and I'll come across as awkward, or it happens to me sometimes, even though that's something I drastically, I really improved on, right? I've gotten way better with talking to people and like my social skills, but sometimes I can have moments where I slip, where I'm not, on my A game, I'm not on my P's and Q's. Sometimes I have moments like that, and that's perfectly fine. That's okay. And sometimes you're going to get rejected. People are going to dislike you. People are going to not want you in their life, or people are going to just treat you in a bad way sometimes. It's life. It's going to happen. But what you can't do is beat yourself up over it. You can't, because like I'm autistic, right? And something that I try to do is I will beat myself up for being autistic. Even though I didn't wake up one day and choose, hey, I want to be autistic. I'm autistic. I didn't choose this shit. I didn't choose to have depression. I didn't choose to have anxiety. So stop fucking treating yourself like you deserve that shit or you fucking chose that shit. Because people around you are going to make it seem like you are putting on a show, or you're acting, or you can control, like you can change not be that way or whatever, or be you. That's just part of you. That's part of who you are. And anybody who can't understand that, they don't have I don't want to say they're not intelligent, but most people can understand. They just don't want to understand because they're fucking cowardice to understand. And I mean that, and I stand on it. Real shit. I stand on that. That's what most people do. They don't want to put themselves in someone else's shoes. They only know what they're going through. They only know their experiences and their life. But part of being a human being, a grown adult, is putting yourself in other people's shoes. That's what you have to do to have friends. That's what you have to do when you're in a relationship. But I got on a tangent because that shit really pissed me off. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes people ain't going to accept you. Sometimes people are going to kind of put you down for what you go through or for who you are. And they don't really understand. They don't know what you're going through. That shit is ridiculous. You got to stop that shit. I'm talking to people who be doing that. Stop it, bro. Stop it. You know what I'm saying? But you can't, it's like when something don't go your way, you got to stop beating yourself up over it, bro. Because beating yourself up over something that, you really didn't have much control over it. That's who you are. And all you can do is get better and try to improve. And I ain't gonna lie, I feel like I've noticed this when I was watching the fucking Red Pill and stuff. The Red Pill kind of makes it like, oh, high value. You got to be high value, high value, high value. You have to be perfect. You have to do everything right. You got to go to the gym. You got to be rich and high value. And Red Pill kind of, there's a lot of good to the Red Pill. But when you listen to that shit so much, you kind of rely on all this external bullshit for your own self-value, your own self-worth. These are worldly things. These are worldly people. This shit is worldly as fuck. It don't got nothing to do with your inherent value. You know where your value really comes from? Who you are as a person, who you are as a man, your spirituality. Not how much money you make, not your achievements, not how much muscle you got. Even though I got muscle, that doesn't really mean shit if I'm not the person. See, I had to become a disciplined man. I had to become like I'm very fucking disciplined. And I'm not fucking perfect, of course, but I am disciplined. I came a long way. Even though I kind of beat myself up for not being able to keep up with the rest of the world and be 100% perfect and work myself like a fucking robot every single day, I know that I am disciplined and I am a very hard worker. I put so much time and effort into not only my bank account and working, but myself. I literally go to the gym. I do that. Like, nobody else has the discipline to stick with something. If you have the discipline to stick with something long term and not quit, even when it gets hard, even when people, hit you with this foolishness, and you still stick with it, even though you don't feel like going. You don't give yourself enough credit. We don't give ourselves enough credit for everything that we've been through, for everything that we've pushed through. We've made it through all these struggles and all these challenges. But we are our biggest critic. See, the world gonna be hard on you. The world's gonna eat you, and chew you up and spit you out, make you want to break down and cry like a little bitch. But the one thing I gotta say to you is that you cannot be the one beating yourself up, because the world, the people around you, they're gonna do that enough. They're gonna beat you down to the ground. The last thing you need to do is beat yourself down to the ground. So, bruh, you need to give yourself a little bit more credit. Your depression is coming from the fact that you are too hard on yourself. You beat yourself up way too much. It's good to have a little bit of, reflection and self-criticism and, be able to look at situations and be able to improve on them. But when you keep ruminating over the same thing over and over again, and all you're really doing is beating yourself up over it, bro, you ain't gonna get nowhere, man. You literally ain't gonna get nowhere. Because this is literally me. This is how I was last night. Literally listening to Tupac and X and all this depressing music and stuff. This was literally me last night, bruh. Because I don't feel understood. I don't feel like anyone gets me. I don't feel like, I'm loved. I don't feel like I'm valued or respected a lot of the times. But you keep going. You literally just keep going, bro. Because at the end of the day, bro, you know what you want, man. You know what I'm saying? What I want, man, I want to start a family, bro. I want to start a family, bro. Like, I want to have a family who's like literally has my back, who's literally down for me. And if that's what's going to keep you alive, keep you on this earth, keep you breathing, then so be it, bro. Let that be what you do, bro. But yeah, I'm gonna stay disciplined, and I gotta go eat my calories. I'm on a bulk and everything. I'm trying to build a little bit of more muscle, add some muscle to my frame and stuff like that. Trying to get to at least 160, 170, something like that, man. But yeah, stay safe, man, and make sure you take care of yourself. My name's Raheem the coach, Raheem the GOAT. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Go follow me on Instagram, Raheem_the coach, not the GOAT, but the coach. I ended up changing it because I think that, I liked it. I like it better. So yeah, follow me on Instagram. All right, let me get me Never give up. Your good selves rooting for you, bro. Peace.